Now we know how to pronounce the name. So I'm Jason Weingarten. I am the co-founder and CEO of Yello. We are what I would say is kind of the perfect complement to your ATS. So every organization has an ATS. Some like their ATS, many don't. And the reason why they don't isn't because they actually have an issue with the ATS. It's because they're trying to do things that they can't. So they end up working on spreadsheets, they're working in email, they are working in their heads, all the places that aren't necessarily process-driven or automated. So that's what we do. We are Chicago-based. We have, this is out of date, we've got 170 employees now. We just got a new hire today. And we're in the growth stage. We have raised $46 million last summer. The big trough came from JMI out here in San Diego. We've also been growing our ARR quite dramatically over the last few years, which is why we've been able to hire and inspire. The companies that are trying to solve this problem are typically in the enterprise today. So our customers are a lot of the big brands. We've been very, very fortunate to work with some of the largest organizations in the world. Our software has data segmentation, it has language packs, we're GDPR compliant, all the fun stuff that you actually have to go through to work with the enterprise. So we work with a lot of the companies and help them with their processes. There are a few things that I like to talk about when discussing Yello. Click, there we go. And it starts with this particular comment. Our greatest fears lie in anticipation. So Kristen did a great job talking about the career fair experience, and we look at it in a little bit of a different way. But if you think about any person that has applied to a job, it's kind of like dating, right? You're putting yourself out there, you're waiting to hear back, you're trying to figure out if you're supposed to send an email to them or not, a text, when do you call, right? It's the same exact thing when you apply for a job. So whether you meet someone at a career fair and you're trying to figure out what's the right tendency to follow up, you're trying to figure out did they like me or not? What is, you don't know the language that the recruiters are getting back to yet. And so what we do at our company is we focus on the candidate experience and we truly empathize with it. I make all of our engineers apply for jobs through our system. I make all of our engineers talk to recruiters and actually have to go through the different things. And so I think empathy is actually one of our greatest assets. Is we go out and we do a ton of not just data analysis, but we actually talk to lots and lots of people. And this is how we came up with our slogan around humanizing the candidate experience. If you think of a very, very large company that has consumer reach, and you think of the hundreds of thousands of people whose hearts they destroy every single year by rejecting them for jobs, and then you ask these same people, please buy our products. That's a great way to lose a lot of money. And so our customers, especially on the enterprise, they are having C-suite initiatives to make sure they are treating candidates with respect, to make sure that they're getting back to them with answers quickly, and to empower the recruiters to make decisions quicker. And again, that's where our software fits in. So the basis of our solution is what we call Talent Relationship Management, TRM, and that's the candidate experience platform. To do that, we have a number of point products that work through there. So candidate capture at events, being able to refer candidates inside a solution, the all-fun scheduling. Who's ever scheduled a candidate and had a hiring manager cancel? Right, that's super fun. Who also has had to evaluate candidates afterwards? Or worse, you're waiting on the evaluation of one person who's out of the country who can't get you that answer, yet the candidate's sitting there waiting. So the workflows around that. And then we also do work around video interviewing and application management. So each one of those things, our companies were typically doing on spreadsheets in an email, and now they have it all in a centralized solution that integrates with their applicant tracking system. So I'll go into a few of the products in greater detail. The first one is Yello Pro. And so we just talked about an instance before where you saw an old school career fair and people handing paper. Paper is our largest competitor. It literally is. So at the National Society of Black Engineers, which is a conference of 8,000 student engineers, there were just over 100 companies that were attending. Of those 100 companies, we had 55% of all companies were using our software to instantaneously capture candidate information. Our nearest competitor at 40% was paper. Not the company paper, but literally paper. At these large career events, and these are events where they're not, we talk about career fairs and they may be dying. Smaller ones are dying. Bigger ones are getting much bigger. If anyone's gone to Grace Hopper and they've looked at the growth of the computer science and female engineering, that's grown fivefold in the last few years. So these are our conferences that our people are going to. And they're using our software to capture all the information, get it directly into the ATS, and start actioning them. They're also using our software to manage relationships with candidates. So you have one source, which is application, right? You get a lot of people to apply for your job, especially your enterprise. You need a way to then market or sometimes remarket opportunities to these people. You also get referrals. You get emails from candidates that say, I can't apply to the job, something's wrong with it. You get people at events that are giving you information. You might sponsor a conference and you're getting a spreadsheet of people. There's usually dozens of different ways that talent is out there and you're not necessarily seeing it. TRM is the true source of the candidate. It will let you know all the events that they attended. It'll let you know the jobs they've applied to and where they were. It'll let you know every single evaluation that's ever occurred about them. It'll let you know all the notes about this particular person, who they were referred by. So it becomes the source of truth for that candidate. And lastly, I'm going to talk about Yello scheduling. This is our highest growth product. Very, very easy to see. If you're like me, I have a bunch of different meetings that I've been trying to schedule back and forth during ASU GSV. It is painful. It is not fun. It is a waste of time. Now imagine doing that for a candidate. And so you have a candidate that's coming in to interview, and they need to meet with one of your 3 product designers. They need to meet with someone from legal. They need to meet with 2 people from HR. They need to meet with the hiring manager. And they need to meet with one of 4 product people. Go, right? Like our software integrates with the calendaring solutions. It integrates with your applicant tracking system. It integrates with your address book. Pulls all the information together and it says, here, this is the time. And makes the candidate really easy. We've got some fun ROI case studies. We had one of the big 5, one of the big enterprise tech companies. They were able to save over $2 million annually by getting rid of 80 different contract type roles where they weren't getting back to the candidates quickly. It took 80 full-time people to go ahead and schedule candidates for this organization just for their campus recruiting just in the US. So by bringing it in-house, it saved them over $2 million. We've got another one, a large RPO. They use our software. They are able to schedule more than 50,000 interviews a year in our solution, which they quantified saving about $4 million a year. So if we think of all the different problems that are out there, the applicant tracking system will still be that record for hiring. That's not going anywhere. But there's got to be a system of engagement, and that's where Yello fits in. So I appreciate all your time. I've got 4 seconds left, so that's me. That's my email. It's a little light, jw@yello.co. Feel free to connect. Thank you so much for your time.